It's travel time again. I decided to visit a friend of mine. She's living in northern Germany, about 400 kilometers away from me. I'm traveling with my car, with my good old Discovery. Yeah, we will be do hopefully some urban exploring. I digged up a few spots around there who should be interesting. I don't know if we can get there yet. We need to figure it out as we go. I'm going to pack up everything of this, make my car ready, and then we will be on the road. In the first exploration of this trip, we are visiting the abandoned Ghost Hotel in northern Germany. The building has a lot of stories to tell and went through a lot of troublesome times, because in its over 100 years long history, it has basically been everything. But let's start at the beginning. The building was constructed in 1910 as a hotel for recreational purposes as part of a plan to bring more tourism to the area. It's therefore located almost directly at a beach of one of the larger lakes in northern Germany. Back in the days, the hotel featured 63 beds, a large porch, exclusive rooms and more. But there have already been problems with the surrounding area because roads were not maintained and the beach was used by residents to dump waste.
Kannst du im Prinzip durchgucken nach oben. Ja.
With the breakout of the First World War, a starting increase in the number of tourists came to a stop, and some rooms were used as storage for artillery ammunition. After the war, the hotel was sold to a new owner in 1919 and developed well at first, but went bankrupt due to the worldwide economic depression in 1931. Because the hotel already had a bad reputation at this point, selling it again turned out to be difficult.
Man sieht noch so ein bisschen Originaltapete.
By means of a foreclosure auction, the hotel got a new owner once more, but by false advertising he raised expectations that could never be met, and the hotel was only working at about 5% of its capacity.
Eigentlich würde ich ja gerne von dem Balkon da mitmachen, aber naja. Vielleicht finden wir irgendwo einen, der nicht so lebensgefährlich ist wie. Aber hier kannst du halt gut über die Balken laufen eigentlich, ne? Was sind noch berühmte letzte Worte?
In 1934, it was planned to accommodate a part of the so-called Sturmabteilung in the building, which was nothing less than the Nazis' party original paramilitary wing. Later, in 1938, it became a home for fugitive German bohemians. Because of supposedly bad treatment of the fugitives and filthiness, the license for hospitality was withdrawn from the owners in 1939. In the final years of World War II, the German Luftwaffe seized the building and turned it into a military hospital. After the war, it was used as a recreation home for former concentration camp prisoners. The hotel then became a part of East Germany with the construction of the inner German border.
Ist das Geländeabzug weg? Boah, ne. Unmöglich. Aber da hinten die Terrasse war bestimmt mal richtig schön.
The next chapter of the history of the former hotel is in the 1950s, when the old owners were dispossessed and it was used as a clubhouse for a local sports club from 1956 on. Some say that during these days it was a superb housing for the top sportsmen of East Germany who lived and trained there. This usage lasted for almost 30 years until 1984, where it was sold again and used as a boarding school and a place for education.
Oha.
After the German reunification in 1990, the contracts were declared invalid and the complex was given to a trust agency, which job was to oversee the sale of the building. They also overhauled the roof, the electrics, as well as the heating system. We found a clue on the last one because, as you see in the boiler room in the basement, the boilers were constructed around 1985, as we could tell from their labels. But what should I say, in the end it was all for nothing. Since these very days in the 1990s, the complex was basically abandoned. They never found someone who actually gave the building a new usage. However, they tried to do that quite often. There were lots of investors and plans, but nothing ever came to work. Plans, for example, included an internet university, an academy with hotel and restaurant, and so on and so on. They planned to start reconstruction in 2010, but that was scrapped. An association bought the building 2 years later to build apartments, but that was scrapped as well. Then the building was offered for sale again, And this time we even know the price, which was 750,000 euros. The most up-to-date news I found on the building were from mid-2019, with plans to refurbish the building once more. As our exploration was about a year after that, you can clearly see that nothing has happened there. In fact, considering the extremely bad condition of the place, I asked myself if a reconstruction is possible anyway.
Wahrscheinlich Hauptwasseranschluss oder sowas gewesen. Mhm. Die Tür. Oh ja. Ah, die geht.
Ablauf da ist nur noch gut. Ist jetzt aber drauf.
Kein Kühlraum. Die meine vorne war auch alles gefliest, wahrscheinlich war das die Küche oder so. Mhm. Und die haben hier ihre Sachen gelagert. Könnte ich mir denken. Ja.
Although losing a beautiful place with so much history like this one would be a shame, finding a new usage is highly unlikely if you look at the recent events. When you just walk through these decayed halls, it's hard to imagine that once there were tourists, fugitives, soldiers, sportsmen, students and God knows who walking on the same floor as we do now. Or at least what's left of it. I also couldn't really figure out why this hotel is often referred to as the Ghost Hotel. Of course, the building has seen a lot, but during my research I never came across any particularly dark stories, urban legends or anything like that. I also didn't find anything extraordinarily scary in the building itself, well, except the missing floors and ceilings, of course. Maybe the name just comes from people just passing by and thinking that the building itself looks creepy. But I don't think so. I think it's beautiful. So that's it for this exploration. Thank you very much for watching, and if you're interested, make sure to check out the other videos on my channel and subscribe if you like. If you want to stay updated, I suggest you to stop by my Instagram page @OlliAdventurer. Also, stay tuned for the next video from this trip, where we manage to explore something really special, which is nothing less than an abandoned East German state security bunker. See you there.